Yeah, we're rock and roll and whatnot here on Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock, from Phoenix, Arizona. Yeah, from the beautiful studios of Freedoms with an S, freedomsphoenix.com. Now, we got the guys. We got Alma, the beautiful Alma, Drew, Jet, and Nick up there in Salt Lake City. Oh, we unleashed them on Salt Lake City, and they're having some fun. They'll tell us about that here in a little bit, but we have them at the Axiom Conference, where they are sharing the love with all the other people up there that are activists. The We Are Change crowd, man, they are thick. Well, who do we have? We got, from San Francisco's We Are Change, Frank Falcon, and he has a website, climategatemovie.net. climategatemovie.net. I'm looking at it, and I'm going, hey, how come I didn't know about this before, man? I'm going, I think I know what he's going to be telling us about. What are you going to be telling us about, Frank?
Just kind of passionate about Climategate right now. It seems to be one of the most, pressing issues. You've got your 9/11 groups like Truth Action and, of course, We Are Change. But Climategate or climate change is, it's upon us. They're trying to use this mechanism to fund their world government. So I just set out to spread the truth to as many people as I could.
Okay, now let's say, I'm going to try and define it for you, and you can tell me where I'm wrong. The impression that I'm getting is this. Climategate probably refers to the professors that their emails got leaked out, that they kind of made this global warming thing up as they were going along. And am I close? You're focusing in on that?
Yeah, and also with the, I'm going to be focusing on the whitewash of the investigations. There were 3 investigations after the Climategate fiasco started appearing on the media. But they're complete whitewashes. They didn't ask the pressing questions like, did you, they didn't ask Phil Jones, did you ask people to delete data? Which, is quite obvious if you read the emails. It's over 1,000 emails. And not only that, but there was also many documents in the zip file. It was called a FOIA.zip. But they basically had the models that they were using, and there's a lot of questionable changes in there.
Well, the main thing is that, I'm sorry, go ahead and give your example.
Well, no, I mean it's the fact that they would use a model. I was listening to Stephen Jones in here at the Axiom Conference, and it's the same thing when it comes to 9/11. They use these models that don't accurately, reflect on the real scientific method, and then we've got bad data.
I've talked to people. The reason that they don't really have any kind of accurate forecasting for weather is that it's so complex that they try to convince me that there is a mathematical axiom that you can't. It is impossible. They even went so far as to break the atmosphere out into 10-mile square cubes, the entire atmosphere, all over the planet, getting, readings and satellite, and trying to get as much data as they could. And after 3 days, it just falls apart. They just can't, because it's too complex. You got to get down to, you got to be God. I mean, it just doesn't work. So I'm going, all right, well, you can have kind of, windows. I mean, it can only get so hot and so cold, and you do all kinds of stuff. What are we basing that on, and how are we? So you get into all this science and so on, but none of that was being used in the global warming thing. I'm going, what is it that they were trying to accomplish? And then I start to get it. When you start having the temperatures cool down, and you really tell here in Phoenix, I mean, when you're at 120s and so on, and then it starts getting down, it's 110 in Phoenix. I go, yeah, well, last few years it was 120, man. We're like, woohoo, 110. So the thing is that we're starting to feel, is it getting cooler? Well, there's arguments back and forth on that too. But the problem is it was really all about getting cap and trade, having a global problem so they could have a global tax to fund a global government. Well, this global warming thing wasn't really working out for them so well, but then they had a nice little silver platter thing come up, and you had the Gulf oil spill. And when you've got tar balls go around into the Gulf Stream and start washing up on the coast of France, we got a global problem, and we got to have more cap and trade. So I can see there's a financial incentive behind a lot of this. And when you have evidence that they were making it up, you have emails that they were pretending, you have evidence that there's really more going on than real hard science, you've got to wonder, why wasn't there any coverage of it? Why wasn't this exposed? Why wasn't this headline news daily? Why wasn't this found out and examined? Well, now I find out that I got a guy that's making a movie. It's like, climategatemovie.net. And I'm going, okay, cool. I want to know, what is it that you're focusing on? Is it the motivations? Is it the actual outing of these emails where they're kind of making up stuff? Is it what? I mean, what are you giving me? Science? I mean, what are you trying to tell me with your movie?
There's going to be a little bit of everything. One thing that I like to stress and point out is the main investigation, it was spearheaded by a guy who's got an obvious financial interest. He owns wind farms in Spain, Italy, the UK. Now, that's the person in charge of this, so-called investigation, which is supposed to be independent. How objective are they going to be?
I
they've
I
obviously
understand.
got.
Well, of course, they wanted to put somebody in there that would give them the answer that they wanted. I mean, they got their own little club going on. And do you have in there about all the scientists, climatologists, and so on that weren't part of this? That that were outside. They're going, no, you're being BS'd here. I mean, we have the great global warming hoax done by the BBC, and they got all freaked out when they did that too. So I'm wondering, the opposition, do they get voice in your movie?
I try to cover a little bit of everybody. I'm not, certainly not trying to squelch anybody. That's kind of what the Gore camp does. And that's not how I, however, I have to point out there are several scientists, even within the IPCC, with opposing viewpoints who, some have left, some are still involved. But as one of the emails in revealed from the Climategate scandal, Phil Jones said that even if they had to change the peer review process, their report would not be included. It's a little problematic. On top of that, there's
that won't be included.
I'm going to cover that. I'm just saying that they're purposely trying to squelch, opposition within the IPCC. But then they make other bold claims. They're trying to downplay the 30,000 scientists that are filing with their petition, saying that anthropogenic global warming, the alarmism isn't quite accurate, and yet the bulk of the IPCC report is by 53 scientists. They say that they have a consensus. In one instance, it was one solar physicist. That's their consensus.
Well, we've done a lot of work on this, and we kind of get an idea of what it probably is. It might be that thermonuclear device in the space called the sun. Oh my goodness, what a concept! But the thing, I'm really glad that there's somebody out there that is actually going and doing some research on. Because what'll happen is We Are Change in San Francisco, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'm wondering. I would think in San Francisco your support might be, waning. There's a lot of people out there. Oh no, it's global warming. You're against that. Oh, we hate Frank. Well, Frank's standing up. Frank Falcon and We Are Change in San Francisco. Go check it out. Climategatemovie.net. I guarantee it will spark more activism on this and information. And we always got some few people to thank. Thanks to Frank.